At first, it was just another trail. Dry leaves, quiet air, the kind of hike where you hear your own breathing. Then the sound came again. Not wind, not an animal, a voice. Help, please. It didn't match the place. No cabins, no camps. Just rock and trees and a dark cut in the hillside Ethan hadn't noticed at first. He stopped walking, listened, silence. He told himself to keep moving, to turn back, to pretend he never heard it, but the voice came back thin and broken, like it was coming through stone. Down here, Ethan's hand tightened around his flashlight. He stepped off the path. The opening wasn't big, not a dramatic cave mouth, hidden behind brush and shadow. It smelled wrong. Cold, damp, metallic. He called out, keeping his voice low. Hello? Are you hurt? The answer came fast. Please, I can't. And then it cut off. That's what pulled him in. Not bravery, not curiosity. That sudden stop, like someone had grabbed the person mid-sentence. He ducked inside. The light from his phone barely reached the first few meters. The cave swallowed the rest. Every step changed the sound of the world outside. The birds disappeared. Even the wind felt shut off. His boots scraped gravel. Then, a drag. A soft scraping noise ahead of him, like something being pulled over rock. He froze. Hey, he called. I'm here. Stay where you are. A small shaky breath answered him. Then a whisper. Don't. Come closer. That didn't make sense. People don't warn you off when they're trapped. Ethan moved anyway, slow, shoulders tight, light sweeping the walls. The passage narrowed. He had to turn sideways in places. Water dripped from above in slow, patient taps, and the deeper he went, the clearer the voice became. But something about it felt off. It wasn't getting weaker, it was getting steadier. Like the person had found their rhythm, like they were waiting for him to be close enough. He rounded a bend, his flashlight hit a patch of flat ground, and stopped, because there was a backpack there, clean, dry, placed upright like someone had set it down carefully. Next to it, a fresh bottle of water. Ethan's stomach dropped. No one loses a bottle like that deep inside a cave. He stepped closer. Half buried in dust was something else. A coil of rope. Not climbing rope, thick rope. Utility rope, with a knot already tied. Ethan didn't touch it. He didn't have to, because the voice spoke again right behind the bend ahead, now close enough to sound like it was only a few steps away. Help me, I'm stuck. Ethan lifted the light toward the darkness, and that's when he saw the first sign of a person. A hand, pale, fingertips pressed against the rock as if they'd been there a long time. But the hand wasn't reaching out, it was bracing, holding itself in place, like whatever was on the other side was trying to pull it back. Ethan whispered, almost to himself, "What happened to you?" The answer came in a breath that didn't sound like pain. It sounded like relief. "You came." Ethan took one step forward. The hand slipped, not down sideways as if something yanked it. A small rock clicked and rolled toward him. Then another sound joined the dripping water, a low buzz. His flashlight found a tiny red light on the cave wall, a device taped to stone. Blinking, Ethan leaned in, just enough to read the plastic. A cheap motion sensor. The help came again, same words. The hand pressed harder into the rock, fingers shaking, and from deeper inside, beyond the bend, Ethan heard a second breath. Not the voice, something else. Breathing, slow, controlled. Ethan swallowed. "Are you alone?" Silence. Then the whisper returned, softer than before. "No." Ethan didn't answer. He didn't step back either. He stood there, light shaking slightly, trying to understand how many people were really inside that cave. The hand against the rock trembled again. "Please," the voice said. "Don't leave." Ethan glanced at the rope on the ground, at the sensor blinking red, then at the narrow bend ahead. That's when he noticed the floor. Marks in the dust, dragged lines, not footprints. Something had been pulled through here more than once. He lifted his phone slowly, careful not to trigger the sensor again. No signal. Of course, the cave swallowed everything. The buzzing sound stopped. The red light went dark, and the voice changed. No panic, no strain, just calm. "You shouldn't have come alone." Ethan took a step back. The hand vanished instantly, snapped away from the rock as if yanked hard. A dull thud echoed deeper inside. Then, silence. Not even breathing. Ethan turned, heart hammering, ready to run, and froze, because the cave behind him was no longer empty. The flashlight caught movement where there hadn't been any before. Another sensor, another rope. And footprints this time. Fresh, pointing inward. Not out. The cave wasn't a place someone got trapped. It was a place people were brought to. That's when the realization hit him. The voice wasn't calling for help. It was bait. Recorded. Timed. Played through a small speaker hidden beyond the bend. Every pause, every plea, designed to pull someone deeper. Ethan backed up slowly, keeping the light ahead of him. That's when a real sound broke the silence. Footsteps. careful, barely disturbing the gravel. Someone who knew exactly where to place their feet. Ethan didn't shout, didn't run. He lowered the light and switched it off. Darkness swallowed the cave instantly. He dropped to one knee, holding his breath. The footsteps stopped. A whisper passed through the dark, too close to be the recording. "Where did you go?" Ethan crawled sideways, feeling the rock scrape his shoulder. His hand brushed against something warm. Skin. A body pressed into a shallow cut in the wall. Alive. Shaking. The trapped person. Before Ethan could react, the person's fingers tightened around his wrist hard. A warning. Then a breath against his ear. "Don't move." Light snapped on ahead. A beam swept the cave floor, slow and deliberate. A silhouette crossed the wall. One person, then another. They spoke quietly, annoyed. Sensor tripped. "Check the entrance." Boots moved closer. Ethan's pulse thundered in his ears. The person beside him whispered again, barely sound at all. "They don't want witnesses." The light turned away just for a second. That was enough. Ethan lunged. He kicked loose gravel toward the light and ran blind toward the entrance, slamming shoulder first into rock, not caring how loud he was now. Shouts erupted behind him. Real voices. Angry. Fast. The cave exploded into chaos, boots pounding, lights bouncing wildly, curses echoing off stone. Ethan burst out into daylight and didn't stop. He ran until the trail reappeared, until his lungs burned, until the forest noise came back. He didn't look behind him. Hours later, rescue teams returned with equipment and daylight. The cave was empty. No speakers, no sensors, no rope, only drag marks, leading deeper into passages too tight to follow. Authorities later confirmed the area had been used before. Remote caves, fake distress calls, people who went missing after trying to help. No bodies were ever found inside, just abandoned gear, placed carefully, like an invitation. Ethan never hikes alone now, and when he passes caves, he keeps walking, because if he hadn't stepped back when he did, no one would have ever known what was waiting inside.